Hello and welcome. This is Jerome Shaw, host of the Open Palm Podcast, motivator, meditator, coming at you with a message from this book as we take another look inside the 7 Taoist masters, the 7 Taoist masters who became immortal in this book. Amazing folk novel of China that teaches Taoist wisdom. For we never feel like a prison once the energy has risen. And we've been talking about different practices and promises of qi, the same life force that flows within you and within me. So this is actually a passage that has to do with sexual desire. And it might even inspire a few folks, maybe men in particular, but also ladies if you're inclined to that kind of energy that flows up the spine. We are usually inclined to walk away from the divine without taking time to cultivate ourselves for our own spiritual, mental, and even sexual health. Woo! Interesting. What can happen if we become the captain of our ship? But let's find out what this book has to say and what can we do about sexual desire today. Now, take sexual desire. Many people know that sexual desire drains the generative energy. And we talk about generative energy like Jing. You know, there's Qi, Jing, and Shen. And the Jing we talk about is the fluids in the body. And namely the vital fluid, the vital essence. In males, this generative force that can create a whole nother being, right? Why are we not seeing that this energy is so powerful? Why would we neglect it? Why wouldn't we protect it? So, the drains the generative energy and want to abstain from it. However, when they see an attractive person, right, they fantasize about having sex or secretly desire sexual company. When these thoughts arise, even if one is not engaged in sex physically, one is already prey to the obstacle. Whew. Have you ever felt like that? That you can eat with your eyes, right? They say, look, but don't touch. Right? Gaze, but not too much. Right? It's like when you're looking at a dish or looking at a buffet and you say, my eyes were bigger than my stomach that day. I was a little bit too full. Even though I felt that immense tug, that immense pull, I ended up feeling like a fool once I cooled myself down. So, when these thoughts arise, even if one is not engaged in sex physically, one is already prey to the obstacle. So, it's already in the eyes, which is really no surprise. You now understand that the cause of craving after liquor and sex lies in the mind. If you want to remove these obstacles, you must start with eradicating the thought of desire from your mind. Tame the heart or mind, and the attentions will not run wild. And I think it says mind in brackets because the character for mind is the heart in Chinese, I believe, or vice versa. And the intentions will not run wild. When the heart is emptied of desire, the cause of ill health will disappear. Cut the attachments externally, and the internal injuries will be healed. Let me say that again. When the heart is emptied of desire, the cause of ill health will disappear. Cut the attachments externally, and the internal injuries will be healed. Now that's interesting, right? You know that song, cut it, you need to cut it. Your heart should be clear and calm like a still lake reflecting the light of the moon. If ripples appear on the water, then the image of the moon will be distorted and the Tao will never be realized in you. How does one go about eradicating the desire for liquor and sex? The ancient sages offer this advice. If it is not propitious, do not look at it. If it is not propitious, do not do it. If it is in front of you, behave as if you saw nothing. If it is spoken to you, behave as if you heard nothing. The Buddhists teach, forget the other, forget oneself, forget everyone. The Taoists teach, look, but do not see it. Hear, but do not listen. That is, if you are not attached to the liquor or the sexual attraction, those things will lose their attractiveness. Attraction is not in the object itself, but in the attitude that we carry around with us. If you can do this, then you will have eradicated the desire for liquor and sex. Now, let us not be perplexed or vexed about this, right? But let's see what we can reflect about this. How can we connect about this, right? And what might we expect about this? When you see that you can look without seeing, you can listen without hearing, and all the desire and the craving and the lust can start disappearing. How do we do this? Have you ever knew this? Like, did you ever know this? That you could actually grow this and that you could actually still this fire? Or in a backwards way, inspire the lack of desire for lust. Not having to always adjust, right? Not having to always move around, my fellas know what I'm talking about. But when you see the opposite sex as they walk about, do you have to holler? Do you have to shout? Or can you let them be on their way? They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But many people battle with lust as they grow older, feeling that they cannot get rid of the pull, feeling empty like a void, never full. But how, in a backwards way, can you lessen the desire of today? If a friend comes around you talking about sexual things, raunchous behavior, lustful activity, you can hear, but you don't have to listen. If someone comes over and gives you a lascivious touch, they might feel upon you just a little too much. You can acknowledge them, but you don't have to oblige. You don't have to give way to that lustful desire. You don't have to call upon those feelings inside. You can allow your inner peace where you may reside.